Hello, this is Spellbinder's weekly report on the G.Edward Griffin's Reality Zone newsletter, the Unfiltered News. These are articles that him and his staff find throughout the week and come to present to you in case you've missed these particular headlines that are vitally important to know, because the mainstream media will not, mostly of them will not report this. So you have to go to all different types of sources to find the information. That's what's going on. Current affairs is important. This is the comic strip for this month. As we get going here. Taxpayer supporting Roe. Broke. There you go. On to the headlines. And this week's headlines. U.S. New federal law criminalizes protests or demonstrations in the presence of a government official. Yes, an affront to the First Amendment. It sailed through Congress with 388 to 3 votes. These people are criminals. We got to get them out of there. Now they're criminalizing protesting. And I've seen the videos on it. And they're saying they're going to start rounding people up at protest. Because now they got a law that says you can't protest. New American, March 1st. U.S. Sheriff Joe Aparlo of Maricopa County, Arizona, said to be America's toughest sheriff, presented probable cause to believe that Obama's birth certificate released last year is a forgery, and shows credible evidence that his selective service card also is a forgery. These short video exhibits tell the story. WorldNet Daily, March 1st. U.S. Timothy Geithner is using his position as Secretary of Treasury to avoid a subpoena, like Obama with his birth certificate in Georgia, that would require him to testify about his participation in the transfer of $8 billion from the Lehman Brothers to J.P. Morgan, leading to the collapse of the Lehman Brothers. Yes, Geithner. You know, the criminal bankster lover. New American Post, February 29th. Video. Judge Nia Lapano explains in simple terms how Geithner could be held criminally liable for his part in the AIG scandal, in which he authorized Goldman Sachs to receive 100 pennies on the dollar for its near worthless assets, paid by you and me, the taxpayers. YouTube posted February 29th. Vermont. A bill has been introduced that would require food to be labeled as genetically engineered if it is entirely or partially produced with genetically engineered ingredients. It is estimated that 85% of the population would reject GMO if they were so labeled. Macola, February 29th. Israel says it may attack Iran without first warning the U.S. Based on previous synchronization between the foreign policies of Israel and the U.S., we cannot help but suspecting that this is a scripted scenario for public consumption to create the false impression that the U.S. does not want to attack Iran, when in fact that has been a continuing priority of the Bush-Obama administrations. InfoWars, February 28th. Virginia legislature overwhelmingly nullifies the NDAA, indefinite detention law, recently passed by Congress. 7 other states are considering similar legislation. The bill is opposed by the governor, but the legislator could override his veto. But we need to get rid of Nazi Germany. That's just a Nazi Germany law. TAC, February 28th. Oh man, they did that in Nazi Germany. Oops, I went there. Didn't mean to go there. Virginia legislature overwhelmingly nullifies NDAA. Okay, let me go back up here because this is where I'm at now. Interpol arrests 25 hackers suspected of belonging to Anonymous, the group credited with hacking into the FBI and the CIA websites. We are glad to see hackers brought to justice, but do we really need an international police organization of Interpol to do it? Who will be next, and who will order the arrest? By Fox, New York, February 28th. Managers of New York's Public Employee Pension Fund have been cooking the books to make it appear the fund is solvent. Much of the money paid into the fund was borrowed from the very fund it was paid into. The so-called loans, really, then were classified as net assets. A loan to yourself could be an asset on your books, but an honest bookkeeper also would show the debt to yourself as a liability. Thus, there would be no increase in the net assets. Market ticker, February 28th. Half of the nation of the world now are using biometric e-passports. These passports have embedded digital chips that contain the same data printed on the pages, plus a digital image of the passport holder's face, so it can be electronically analyzed in a face recognition software. The number is expected to increase to 90% by 2016. Contactless News, February 28th. This is a very good video here. It's called Quick Chain Artists. How do they do that? I mean, these people go through several wardrobes in seconds, and it's just amazing how they do it. Good watch. On to the headlines. Federal judge throws out organic farmers' suit against GMO giant Monsanto. The farmers had hoped to prevent Monsanto from contaminating their fields with GMO seeds blown there by the wind. The court ruled that there was insignificant evidence that this was a threat. National Society, February 28th, and the judge is a biochemist and a agriculturalist. I don't think so. I don't know how these federal judges can make such rules without knowing anything about it, about being an expert. Anyways, there have been 81 resignations of top executives in the major banks across the world in recent months, possibly indicating a massive shakeup in the industry. Are the rats abandoning their sinking ships? Voice, February 27th. Could be. These people are running now. They're taking the money and run. And a lot of them are building boats out in the middle of the Pacific as big as islands and living on them to get away from us because they know they're criminals. Anyways, Ron Paul beats Obama in the latest Rasmussen poll, 43 to 41. This puts him in the top rank and proves he is electable. His appeal to voters in all parties is steadily increasing. State column, February 27. FOIA documents reveal that the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, the NRC, downplayed the seriousness of the Fukushima disaster and covered up its effects on the U.S. Intel Hub, February 27. Yeah, they're not telling you that you're being, every time it rains, you should be in cover. Don't splash into mud puddles. They're radioactive with cesium. 137. Anyway, U.S. Monsanto settles an Agent Orange class action suit for $93 million in favor of residents of Nitro, West Virginia, who were injured and poisoned as a result of an explosion caused by management negligence. This is a small change compared to the actual damage, but it opens the door for more litigation. As usual, stockholders will pay the damages, but corporate executives who were responsible for the negligent practices will continue to receive bonuses. Nothing will change until corporate managers are held personally responsible for their actions. Natural Society, February 27th. That's right. It's just like the pharmaceutical companies. They pay off this petty fines, and they make billions off of the medication that did the damage, and they pay millions when they get caught. That's how they work. That's how they roll. Come on, people, start waking up. You're being manipulated and scammed daily. Yemen's president Ali Abdullah Saleh steps down after 33 years in power and names his deputy to replace him. Saleh also is granted immunity from prosecution. He is the fourth leader in the Middle East to cede power after more than a year of mass protest in the region. BBC, February 27. More stuff happening in the Middle East. Harvard study finds that milk from large factory farm dairies is linked to human cancers. Know why? Because the diets of these cows causes excess production of a carcinogenic hormone called estrogen sulfate. And you wonder why not milk is, it should be, everyone should go to the website, Not Milk. Natural News, February 27th. You understand that they have messed up the milk. Natural milk that isn't pasteurized is better for you if it's not pasteurized, because it's had to be taken care of better. In these factory farms, they actually allow feces and pus from over milking the cows to get into the milk, so they pasteurize it to get all that out of there, but that stuff is still in there in particle. Oh well, let's go on here. Let's see. The EU toughened sanctions against Syria that targets its central bank and Syrian officials. Interventionism is the child of collectivism. The inevitable result is war. VOA News, February 27th. The silver cartel dumped 201.5 million ounces of paper silver on the market in 7 minutes to force silver prices down. Paper silver is a contract to deliver silver that the issuer of the contract does not have at the time, but promises to buy if necessary. It is pure speculation, not a real sale of silver. The maneuver failed because the price of silver immediately rebounded. Another very large speculator, possibly China, which most likely brought the whole thing, and the real market hardly noticed what happened. So anyone that wanted to get in on that cheaper silver when the price dropped, well, it didn't last very long. You really have to be watching the silver market. Silver Doctor, February 25th. Tokyo, home to 30 million people, now has radiation levels that are 25 times the Fukushima mandatory evacuation zone level. Veterans Day, February 25th. People should be moving out of there. I know they moved the military bases off of Japan and moved them to the Philippines. Italian court ended the corruption trial of former Premier Silvio Berlusconi because the statute of limitations has expired. In Italy, statutes continue to run even after trial starts, so if there are delays, defendants can exhaust the clock. That's what happened here. YouTube, February 25th. UN, World Health Organization, supports the publishing of scientific papers showing how to create a super contagious, lethal strain of bird flu. Yes, people, they're just going out and giving it away, and they're in second level biolabs instead of high level. They're in like anything could happen level. A recent study shows that the normal strain of H5N1 has a mortality rate of only 1%, not 60% as previously claimed by the WHO and vaccine manufacturers. So now the ideal is to artificially create something that will live up to the original claim. We are not making this up. Natural Society, February 25th. They're getting ready to do something horrible to us, people. To get us under control. Less the population, the more they can control easier. Wyoming lawmakers considers a bill to study how to survive a collapse of federal government. It would include plans to issue its own currency and to create a standing army, even strike aircraft and aircraft carriers. Tribe.com, February 25th. This analysis shows that the reason that the EPA rubber stamps approval for dangerous chemicals is because chemical companies supply all the safety studies which give them total control over what those studies contain. Natural Society, March 1st. Video, John Stossel shows how nearly everything in America is illegal. That's right. You have over 100,000 laws out there you're supposed to be responsible to know. And they keep adding new laws to make more laws or more things illegal every day. This really shows what collectivism has done to America. YouTube, February 26th. Yeah, they're trying to make everything illegal so they can put you into their system any way they can and control you as a slave. Another video. This short documentary shows how Goldman Sachs loaned Greece $3.75 billion and helped the government hide the debt from the public view. It was all quite legal, but as fraudulent as it gets. This is a textbook example of how bankers rig the system. Politicians gobble up the money. Regulators look at the other way. The taxpayers are left to absorb the loss. YouTube posted February 25th. Syria makes progress queering violence caused by rebels who are armed by NATO. But the Western media paints this as human rights violations. When Western governments do the same thing, the media reports as defending human rights against rebels and terrorists. This is the same formula used in Iraq and Libya to build support for U.S. goal of regime change. InfoWars, February 23rd. Dr. Paul Craig Roberts shows us how the U.S.-controlled media is engineering public opinion to willingly enter into World War III. And he does a very good job. February 20th. Dr. Mercola explains why root canals are not a good idea. Very important information here. Yeah, it causes cancer. I hope you people look at this who had root canals and go, oh my God, I better get into some type of a natural treatment for detox of bacteriums out of your system. Okay, that's Dr. Mercola, February 18th. And last but not least, here's a great photo. This is lightning over the Grand Canyon. Click here to enlarge. And it's a beautiful looking picture. Well, that's the news for the week. Until next week, this is Spellbinder saying have a wonderful weekend. Don't let the tornado storms this afternoon, Friday, mess up anyone in the Ohio Valley area, because the whole area is under a tornado watch till basically 7, 8 o'clock. And it's right now 11:48 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in Central Ohio. Until next time, be good or be good at it, and good day. Oh, and the temperature is 51 degrees.